Jacob's trouble. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakwadash. And I thought about going to a lot of different precepts. I'm pretty much going to stay in one chapter because that's all you really need. Let's see how the Spirit moves me. Anyway, this is from Jeremiah 30 verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Jacob in the Hebrew is Ya'iqwab, which means supplanter. That was the name of our father, Ya'iqwab. The 12 tribes of Israel came out of Ya'iqwab. So Ya'iqwab is interchangeable with the term Israel, which means Yah meaning he, Shah meaning prince, and Allah meaning power or God. He is a prince of God. The Most High is a king, and we his sons are princes. We are the only true sons of the Most High. This also includes the angels, because the angels are also referred to as princes, which are sons of the Most High. That's also in Job chapter 1, the first couple of verses, and also in Job chapter 2. So let me read that 7th verse again. Alas, for that day, if I didn't read it, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So Israel is going to be saved out of that time that a day is that for that day is great, so that none is like it. None is like this day, because this day hasn't come, and our deliverance will come in the midst of Jacob's trouble. Esau's getting ready to do some shit, man, for he knoweth that he had but a short time. So now you can read the whole chapter. It's only 24 verses long. I may jump around, but let's see where the Spirit takes me. And as you read it, you understand that this is referring to a prophecy that's getting ready to take place. When Jeremiah received these prophecies, when you read Jeremiah 49, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, and Jeremiah 30, like if you go into Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51, when Jeremiah saw these visions and wrote them down, in his mind, this was in the midst of the ancient Babylonian Empire. This was during that time period, before the Medo-Persians, before the Greeks, before the Romans. So Jeremiah, when he received these prophecies, he was thinking about the Lord delivering us from the Babylonian captivity. Same goes with Daniel and the other prophets during that time period. But we know that it was referring to Babylon being destroyed. It's not talking about ancient Babylon, but talking about the new Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon. And how do we know that? Well, it's in the 30th chapter of Jeremiah. It's also in Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51. And Jeremiah 49. when you read those chapters back to back, it's either in Jeremiah 50 or 51. It says Yahweh and Israel were oppressed together. And it says pretty much the same thing in this chapter, the 30th chapter. It's in the third verse. It says, "For lo," matter of fact, let me start from the top. So don't let anybody tell you that Jacob's trouble already took place or we're not going to be delivering Jacob's trouble. There was a video put up concerning this guy from the IUIC, the head of the IUIC, which is Nate. He's known as the Bishop Nathaniel, which he said in an interview some years back that there's not going to be Jacob's trouble. Now, he had recently made a video saying that he was talking about that 5 years ago. That 5 years ago wasn't going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. Now, when you watch the original interview with the writer from the islands, if you got his name, you can put it up. I'm not going to look it up. The guy's yelling at Nate about, there is going to be a time of Jacob. And he said, nope, there's not going to be a time of Jacob. And you can see in the video that Gazak had put up, but he put it up based on what, or Elder Gazak put up based on what Elder Menat Gazak put up out of South Carolina. I didn't see that video, but I saw the one that Gazak had put up. And he actually shows how he made the statement. Oh, I was talking about 5 years ago. No, when you watch the actual interview, he said, when the time comes for us to be delivered, we're just going to be delivered. In so many words. You got to watch the video itself. So he's clearly reversing himself if you watch the video. Anyway, let me just read the first verse, Jeremiah 30, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, "Thus speaketh Yahweh the Most High, Yasha'Allah, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book." Now, mind you, these prophets, these great prophets that saw these visions and wrote them down, they didn't understand what was going on. We here, being the latter-day prophets, we understand exactly what's going on. Those words or those prophecies that these great prophets saw is for us today, because it's going to come to pass in our time. It says in the third verse, "For lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel, Yasha'Allah, and Yahweh." So what is that talking about? It's talking about now. It's not talking about, we're talking about 2,600 years ago, approximately, during the time of the Babylonian captivity. About 150 years before that, the Assyrians, led by King Shalmaneser V, took down the kingdom of Israel, the so-called northern kingdom. So we know that this is not talking about now. Now, Jeremiah was probably thinking that, well, somehow the Most High is going to bring the northern kingdom back and we're going to be delivered. Well, it wasn't delivered during Jeremiah's time. This, the third verse, is yet to happen, which is Jacob's trouble. It said, "For lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will bring the captivity of my people, Yasha'Allah, the northern kingdom, and Yahweh, the southern kingdom, saith Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers and they shall possess it. Well, that's getting ready to happen. That never took place. And these are the words that Yahweh spake concerning Yasha'Allah and concerning Yahwadah. For thus saith Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. See, this coming turmoil, tumult, whatever you want to call it, you can't compare it to any time in history. It says in Isaiah the 13th chapter that this thing will destroy the whole land. And that land is talking about Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. It says in the 6th verse, ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. You know, when you're sick, you look pale. So all these people, these nations, including Israel, including Esau, there's going to be a time of trouble that you can't compare to any time in history. Now, before this happens, they will attempt to microchip everybody on the planet. Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day, what day? Well, we're reading about it from the first verse. Actually the 3rd verse. For lo, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasha'Allah and Judah. So it says days right here, right? But the ultimate destruction, see, the time of Jacob's trouble is not going to be a one-day event. It's going to be ongoing. But the actual day of Yahweh will be when the destruction comes, when the Lord comes. Pursuant to Revelation, the 12th chapter, pursuant to Daniel, the 12th chapter. It says, 7th verse again, Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's, Yaqub's trouble, but he